Hello my dear viewers, welcome to my channel. My name is Malena and in this video I'm going to teach you a very sensual and feminine dance move that concentrates on your hips and that is extremely versatile and beneficial in many ways. I have been inspired to this move by a telenovela character from a very famous Colombian telenovela. It's called Pasión de Gavilanes and recently the second season came out. The character that I'm referring to is Rosario Montes. It's a very beautiful and famous singer and she also dances to her songs together with her whole dance group. There is one particular move that she has already danced in the first season and now in the second season the move that I want to teach you here. Before we start and get into that, I want to tell you why I am applying this specific dance move when I am dancing somewhere, at an event or outside or even for myself, and why it is so beneficial. First of all, the move is very easy to learn. If you are already a little bit flexible in your hips and you like Latin dances, that will be a big advantage because the move is a little bit tending towards the Latino dance side, but it also is strongly connected to belly dance. But even if you have no dance experience, it will be relatively easy for you to learn this move. So the first benefit is that you can apply this move either at home by yourself or outside. Because, and that's the second benefit, this move will also serve as an exercise for a more feminine and sensual hip movement. So it will be simply a training for your hips. To walk more sensually, to move more femininely, to have more flexible, soft hips. The third benefit is that it will not only make you look very feminine and sensual when you are moving and while you are dancing, but it will also nourish your feminine energy and increase your sensual confidence. Because the move is very much concentrated on our hip area and this is of course also the center of our femininity. Another benefit is that you don't need a lot of space for it. You can basically dance it on the spot. So you can dance it in a crowded bar where there is some nice R&B or some Latino music. You can also vary the move. So I will show you 3 variations. And the good thing is that you can tone the move up and down, so you can make it more sensual and more seductive or a little bit less by using your arms and hands accordingly and by varying the move. I will show you that in the course of the video. And the last benefit, it is so practical because you can basically dance it on almost all kinds of music. So all kinds of music that have a beat, and a regular rhythmical beat would be good. So it can be danced on Latino music for sure, 100%. It can be danced on Oriental music. It can be danced on R&B and even on pop music. That is also a little bit more sensual and rhythmical. And it doesn't matter if the music is fast or slow, because I will also show you some examples how you can dance this move either slower or faster. So it's super practical and super sexy. So stay until the end of this video because in the end you will know how to dance this magic move by Rosario Montes. And I will call it the Rosario move. So for this lesson I am using high heels. And the reason why I'm using high heels is because the move is of course intended to be danced when you're out and about, when you're at an event or, as I said, in a bar with music or even a club and there is music and you're normally dressed up a little. So that's why I would recommend you to practice the move in high heels. Also, the heels will help you to give your hips even more space because they push up your hips a little bit and we will work with flexed knees all the time. That's why you will have a very big range for your hip movement. So here I wanted to show you The shoes that I'm wearing are simply my favorite white creamy pumps. And then what we will do is we will flex the knees. And remember that our feet are not really doing anything. Our feet will simply be a little bit loose and flexible and follow the movements of our hips. But you will see that later. Before we go into the first version of the Rosario move, we will warm up our hip area, because this will be quite challenging for our hips if we are not used to it. So what we will first do is we will do some hip circles. For that, we distribute our weight equally on both sides and our knees are flexed. As I told you, the complete move will be with a little bit flexed knees. Now, we have to stand in our basic posture with regard to the upper body and the middle part. So that means pull yourself up on the imaginary string, put your head back, roll the shoulders back. We can now do it a little bit more, because this will also serve as a warm-up. And then we will let the shoulders fall down so they are relaxed. Our core should be engaged. So our pelvis should not go like this to the back, also not to the front, but it should be neutral. And for that we need to engage our core so that the muscles here are working. And then, as I said, we go down into our knees. So this part is not part of my basic posture. This is part of my basic dance posture. We stand one fist apart, so like this. And also the feet should have the same distance, and the points of your shoes under your knees, they should show in the same direction. This is important so that we don't damage our knees. And now we will do some hip circles, simply some horizontal hip circles clockwise, and we try to isolate our upper body from our hips. So we work a lot with our knees. Our feet are in the same place, our upper body is staying in the same place, and only this middle part is circling with the help of the flexed knees, of course. And then we change the direction, and this will warm up our lower back and also our hips in general. The second warm-up movement will already be part, like the introductory part for our Rosario move, and I call it the snake hips. So what we will do is we will simply do the figure 8 with our hips. And I don't want to be too strict here, because I'm not giving a belly dance lesson. In belly dance we are very, very specific with regard to the direction. If you know the number 8 is purely vertical, if it is purely horizontal, if it goes forward, if it goes backwards, if it's somehow in between. The in-between is very bad, that's not allowed in our teacher is very strict about that. She loves clean technique. But here, this is more of a casual dance, like a private, personal, individual dance. That's why you can vary like the size of the number 8, and also a little bit if it's more horizontal or more diagonal or more vertical. That will be up to you. It just has to look sexy and sensual, so it has to be the figure 8. And I, and also Rosario, is mostly doing the figure 8 in a rather diagonal way. She's not going totally vertically up and down, and she's also not doing only the horizontal movement. It's like something in between, and that's okay for this movement. And also I am now showing it backwards, so you can do it forwards and backwards, but I found it more easy, and also in the dance it is backwards. So we will always imagine a figure 8 that goes backwards, like diagonal backwards. I hope you can see that picture in your mind. So we will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can also put your hands on your hips. Then you will feel more how your hips are moving. So this is already like a pre-movement, the so-called hips, the number 8 hips. And when you have mastered that, you can simply do it a few times. When you feel secure with that movement, we will go on with version 1 of the Rosario move. So the basic move, or the first and easiest version, will be the double accent. So what Rosario does in almost all of her songs and performances, and also her dancers, she applies this basic move because it is also very suitable to the music that she dances on, and the music is called cumbia. So it's a Colombian Latin dance. But as I said, I have tried it on different genres, and it also works with other musics. So basically there is a pattern which is kick, kick, double kick, and then again kick, kick, double kick. And I say kick because now we will move the hips in this number 8 movement, but we will make an accent, like a small kick with our hips on every side that we arrive at. So we will do kick, this is one accent, kick, and 2 kicks. So we go back and forth again, but not all the way, just like half the way. So this will be 1 kick, kick, double kick, 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 double kick. And together with the kicks, I'm moving and continuing the number 8 movement. So let's try that on music now. So we will first do this movement with our hands next to our body, and they can just move along. And we will start with the snake movement. And now we start with the kicks. And 1, 2, kick, kick, 1, 2, kick, kick, 1, 2, kick, kick, 1, 2, kick, kick. And we go on like this. Single, single, double. Single, single, double. At this point, we try to hold our upper bodies a little bit stable, more or less. Of course, it can move along a little bit. But in this version, we concentrate on the hips. Are simply standing on the ground. My heels are moving a little bit along. This is simply a natural extension of the movement. So it's not intended. The movement is basically in my hips. Alright, we have mastered the first version. Now we will upgrade or uptone this movement to the next level by adding it a little bit more sexiness. So now we will use our hands and put them on our hips. We can either place them casually like that on the side or a bit more in the front. That depends on how you feel or what you like best. You can also vary it a little bit. Of course, we will not do a very expressive hand movements like on stage, because of course when Rosario, the singer, performs on stage, she's using her hands very much, and I like that, but that's really for a dance. It's not really suitable for, you know, an event or when you're outside. Yes, depending on the situation, but normally we want to appear a little bit more, you know, as if we are not intending to seduce anyone. Of course, the movement is still seductive, but not as we are trying too much, if you know what I mean. So that's why you should simply use your hands and put them quite casually on your hips. And you can leave them there and just alter it a little bit. The second thing that we will add is we will go up and down while doing this movement. This will of course add a big portion of sensuality. So I will quickly show you what will happen. So basically the position is the same, just that our flexed knees will flex even more when doing one part of the movement and then go back to the previous position. So it will be with our hands on the hips. We go down, kick, kick, double kick, and up, kick, kick, double kick, down, kick, kick, double kick, and up, double kick. So that's basically it. It's the same movement, just with a different hands position and with adding a little bit movement downwards and up. And now we will try on music. So the hands placed on our hips. Start with our number 8 pre-movement. This is also something that you can do, of course, when you are dancing. So basically, the only thing that happens is that my knees are flexing more, of course, they have to go down, but my feet are not moving. They are quite stable. So that was version number 2, the little bit more sensual and sexy version. Now we will add another rotation. So for now, and this is what the dancers and Rosario and telenovela are also doing, they are engaging their upper body more. So we have now danced with our hips quite isolated. And what we will do now, we will add a little rotation. So we will dance the move a little bit more towards in a forward way. So as it was now a little bit more just to the side, now it will be a little bit more forward and to the back and to the side. So it will be a bigger movement. And also we will move our body along with that. So when we go to the right, like forward and backwards, then our upper body can follow that. So when we go to the right with the right hip, then our right shoulder follows this a little bit and goes back. That's not very technical actually. It's more a natural movement, so don't overthink that. Just try to be a little bit more loose in your upper body and let your upper body just follow your hips. That's the best advice that I can give you, because if you start to overthink it, it won't work. And if it doesn't work and it just doesn't go in your head, then forget about it and stay with your hips. So this is just a variation, but then try to do the movements more towards forward. And with our hands, we will now try the hands in the hips position, but not very strongly, but a little bit more loosely. And we will also try this with the up and down. So we will combine everything together. So let's start with the snake movement. I'm putting my hands in the hips and I'm starting to move them in the number 8 slowly. And I'm doing a voice over here, that's why my lips don't match with what I'm saying. Don't look at that. Just look what I'm doing with the hips. And we will shortly start with the double kick when the music is appropriate for it now. So I do the double kicks and I'm going down with that. My hands are just in the hips. You can of course move them also, but we start with this position as it is the best for the beginning and for practicing. It gives you a feeling for what your hips are doing. I'm also turning around so that you can see how it looks like from the side, but actually you can move around with this movement because you just have to
walk with it, more or less. I'm just moving my hands around a little bit so that you see that there are many variations. It's up to you. You can also just put them to the sides of your body, and that makes the move a little bit more casual and a little bit less sensual.
So as you saw, this move can be adjusted to the situation, to your clothing, and to the appropriateness. But it can also be adjusted to the velocity of the music. You can dance it on slower music and on faster music. And it doesn't have to be Latin music or cumbia even. It can be all kinds of rhythmical music. I will prove that by using some random YouTube music, a little more slower song that is reminding me a little bit of zouk or even reggae, so it has actually a different genre, but it's perfect with this move. And also I will show you on very slow music, which goes more into the R&B and even a little bit electronic. But this move will not go well with techno or house. That's just, I wanted to tell you. This is simply something completely different. But as I said, most kinds of music that you are hearing mainstream, and especially the Latin kind and a little bit more sensual rhythmical music, will go very well with that. So now I will show you the whole move on a little bit slower music.
And we are starting with the snake hips while the music is still very slow. Now that the music is becoming more rhythmical, we are continuing with our hip accents, and it's actually very suitable for this kind of music. And then I'm going down and up and varying the different things that we have learned so far. And when you hear that the music becomes slower, you can always change back to the snake hips. That's very perfect for those kind of slower parts in many songs. Then when it becomes faster again, you can start again with the double kick movement. So it's very versatile and adaptable. Now we have a completely different kind of music, but it's still rhythmical. And as it is slow in the beginning, I'm doing and starting with the snake hips. And then as soon as I hear beats, and you can hear that in this song the beats are quite pronounced. And actually they are perfectly well fitting for our hip accents. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the natural accents in the music.
So, my dear viewers, now we have done all the versions. We have danced on different kinds of music, and now you can simply take this step, take this move and enjoy it. First try to dance it at home on your favorite Latin or cumbia or R&B music. And then when you feel very sensual, confident and feminine and secure, next time you are in a situation where you can dance, where people are dancing, instead of just doing what everybody does, the side step and the arms movement, you can simply make our move. And you can be sure that this will look very feminine and sensual. And not everybody dances like this. At least I have never seen it so far here. Maybe it also depends on the country. But it is not a very common dance movement here in Europe. Wherever you are, I think the Rosario move is simply the easiest and most sensual feminine dance move that I have come across so far, and that was so easily applicable in real life. If you like that move and you are now really motivated to dance a little bit more, or if you are a fan of this telenovela, Pasión de Gavilanes, by the way, it is on Netflix at the moment. It's quite accessible to everyone, also with the subtitles. Because of that, I have recreated one whole dance of Rosario Montes from season 2, so it's the new version. And I will show that and teach that to you in my next video. So if you are curious to see and eager to learn, don't forget to subscribe, and very important, push the notification bell, because then you will be notified when I upload that video. Until then, practice our basic move, because this will also be part of the choreography. So, see you there and bye bye!